All right, let's talk about one of the absolute cornerstones of Google Cloud security, identity and access management, or as we all know it, IAM. If you've ever found yourself scratching your head trying to figure out who has access to what in the cloud, well, you've come to the right place. We're going to break it all down today. You know, when you strip everything else away, all of cloud security really just boils down to this one simple, powerful question. Who can do what on which resource? Seriously, every single security policy, every rule, it's all just trying to answer this. And we're about to see how Google Cloud's IAM gives us a really elegant way to do just that. And here's the thing I love about Google's approach. It's just so simple. Every IAM policy, no matter how complex it seems, is built on just three core ideas, a super elegant framework: who, what, and where. So let's dive in and see what each of these really means. Okay, first up, the who. In the official IMA lingo, this is called a member. But really, it's just who's asking, who's trying to get in. Is it a person, like you or me logging in? Is it an application chugging away on a VM? Or maybe it's a whole group of people, like your dev team. That's your who. Next, we've got the what, and this is the role. I think the best way to think about a role is like a job title, right? It doesn't tell you who the person is, it tells you what they're allowed to do. It's basically just a handy collection of specific permissions, like, compute.instances.start or storage.objects.get. And finally, we have the where. This is the resource. This one is all about scope. You've got to ask yourself, where does this permission apply? Are we talking about one tiny file in a cloud storage bucket, an entire project? Or are we giving out keys to the kingdom at the whole organization level? The where is what defines let's call it the blast radius of any permission you grant. Okay, so we've got the theory down, right? Who, what, where. Now let's see how these building blocks actually fit together in the real world. We'll look at some actual examples because, honestly, this is where it's all going to start making perfect sense. So that who we talked about, it comes in a few different flavors. You've got your normal Google accounts, that's for people. Then you have service accounts. Think of these as identities for your code, your apps, your VMs, super useful. You can also use Google Groups, which is a lifesaver for managing permissions for whole teams at once. And then you have these two, all users and all authenticated users. And listen, you have got to be so careful with these. We're talking about making things public to literally the entire internet. So yeah, use with extreme caution. Now let's talk about the what, the roles. And this is really important. You've basically got three types. First, you have the old school primitive roles: owner, editor, viewer. My advice? Just don't use them. Seriously, they're way, way too broad and completely go against the principle of least privilege. The real sweet spot where you'll spend most of your time is right here with predefined roles. They're tied to a specific service like compute admin and are what you should be using 99% of the time. But what if even that's too powerful? Well, that's when you get to be a surgeon and create your own custom role, picking and choosing the exact permissions you need. And this right here perfectly shows the where. Think of your Google Cloud environment like a big tree. At the very top, the root, you've got your organization. Then you have branches, which are your folders. Maybe you organize them by department, like marketing or engineering. And then inside those folders, you have your projects. And the projects are the containers that hold all the actual stuff, your VMs, your storage buckets, all of it. Okay, now this is probably the most important concept to grasp about the hierarchy. Policies are inherited. They flow downhill like water. So if you give someone viewer permissions on a folder, they automatically get to view everything inside that folder, all the projects, all the resources. It's additive. And this is key, you can't deny a permission down here if you've already granted it up here. It's an incredibly powerful system, but you really have to be careful because it's easy to grant more access than you intended. All right, enough with the theory. Let's get our hands dirty. We're going to put this who, what, where framework to the test with some real-world scenarios. This is the stuff you'll actually be doing day in and day out. Okay, scenario 1. This is a classic. You get a ticket, the marketing team needs to look at some log files. But, and this is a big but, you cannot let them change or delete anything. So how do we use our framework to give them exactly what they need and nothing more? Easy. We just apply the framework. Step 1, who? That's the analyst's user account, marketinganalyst@yourcompany.com. Step 2, what can they do? We give them the storage object viewer role, which is perfect for read-only access. And step 3, where? This is the critical part. We apply that role to the specific bucket with the logs, not the entire project. Boom, simple, secure, and scoped down perfectly. All right, let's try a more technical one. Let's say you've got a CI/CD pipeline, an automated system that deploys your applications. It needs to be able to create, start, and stop VMs. But it's not a person, right? It's a machine. So how does it get permission to do things? It's the exact same framework. We just swap out the pieces. For the who, we use a service account, that special identity for applications. For the what, we give it the compute instance admin role, so it has the power to manage VMs. And for the where, we lock it down to just the dev project. And this is so important because it means that pipeline can do its job in dev, but it has absolutely no way of accidentally messing with your production environment. Okay, so you've totally got the fundamentals down now. So let's level up. We're going to get into some pro tips and, maybe more importantly, some common traps people fall into. If you're studying for a GCP certification, or you just really want to master IAM, you're going to want to pay close attention to this next part. Okay, this one trips people up all the time. Service account user versus token creator. Let's make it super simple. The service account user role is for when you need to deploy something with an identity. Think of a developer launching a VM that needs to use a certain service account. The token creator role is for when you need to act as that identity. It's about impersonation, getting temporary credentials to do a job. One is deploying with, the other is acting as. It's a subtle difference, but it's absolutely critical to understand. Okay, if you take away one security tip from this whole thing, let it be this. Do not generate and download service account keys. Just don't do it unless you have absolutely no other choice. Those little JSON files are long-lived credentials, and they are a massive security risk if they get leaked. If your app is running outside of GCP, maybe in AWS or on-prem, the modern secure way to handle this is Workload Identity Federation. Look it up, use it. All right, 2 more advanced controls for you. Think of organization policies as the big preventative guardrails for your whole cloud setup. They set constraints. So you could make a policy that says nobody anywhere in this organization is allowed to create service account keys. It's a broad rule. IAM deny is different. It's more like a sniper. It's a specific block. It lets you say, I don't care what other allow policies this user has, they are explicitly denied this one permission. And remember, in the world of IAM, deny always beats allow. And let me leave you with 2 more pro tips, 2 tools you should definitely have in your toolbox. First, the policy troubleshooter. When you're pulling your hair out trying to figure out why someone can't access something, this tool is your new best friend. It'll tell you exactly what's going on. Second, IAM conditions. These are just awesome. They let you grant temporary or conditional access. Like, you can be a project editor, but only between 9 and 5, and only from the office IP address. Super powerful stuff. So, let's wrap this up. The big takeaway here is that IAM isn't just some complicated tool. It's a security mindset, and it's built on that really simple framework we talked about. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. Now that you really understand the who, what, where model, take a look at your own security policies. Which one of them could you make simpler and at the same time even stronger? It's a fantastic exercise to take back to your team. Thanks for tuning in.